It's time for a Drunk Talk TV Music Industry News Desk Report.
Strap yourself in, void where prohibited, batteries not included, not available. State of shock.
Hi everyone, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us again today for this News Desk Report. I'm here with Steven Schinder. How are you, Steven?
Good. How are you, Shiley?
I'm great. Are we ready to jump into the icebreaker?
Yeah, let's start off the Drum Talk TV News Desk Report with an icebreaker.
It's time for
All right, Steven, I have one for you today. What artist or album have you been listening to a lot this week?
That's an interesting question because when I listen to music, sometimes I listen to an album and then move on to the next thing and then don't really come back to something until I don't know, a while later. But I was listening to music by a band called College. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling, but they did that song in that movie, A Real Hero. So I was kind of listening to more of their stuff. I'm trying to look up what the album name was. Okay, I Googled College album and it thought it meant graduation photo album, so go figure. But yeah, why don't you provide your answer and then I'll try looking up the name of that album. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, Shiley.
Yeah, sorry, it's glitching out for a second here. I should be back.
All right. So
Yep, I'm back. Yeah. Sorry.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, my answer would be probably Hozier. I've been listening to a lot of his music this week. I think a second runner-up is my favorite band of all time, Fall Out Boy. Just kind of been listening, going back to my favorites and just revisiting that to kind of build morale for the week. So really enjoying that.
Okay. Yeah, and it looks like the album was called Secret Diary. So there you go. All right. So
Very
now
awesome.
We'll go on to the next segment here.
It's time for This Day in Music History. Why not the whole week? Because we'd be here forever.
Okay, on this day, September 26th, in 2014, Radiohead frontman Thom Yorke released his second solo album, Tomorrow's Modern Boxes. Yorke and producer Godric released the album on the peer-to-peer file sharing service BitTorrent for just $6 as they criticized Spotify for the lack of their fair compensation of new artists. The pair expressed their wish to give control of internet commerce back to people who are creating the work. This album was downloaded over 1 million times in 6 days and became the most downloaded legal torrent of the year.
Wow, that's huge. And, again, Radiohead, such a well-known band. So to do that, that was a huge thing that they did,
Yeah, definitely groundbreaking.
Yeah. And 10 years before that, in 2004, Green Day scored their first UK #1 album with American Idiot, which was the band's 7th release. A concept album dubbed a punk rock opera by band members. It follows a story of Jesus of Suburbia, a lower middle class American adolescent anti-hero. So several years ago, when I was attending University of California, Irvine, they were actually playing American Idiot. I guess I don't know if it was some of the students there or people from elsewhere, but they were doing a performance of the American Idiot, in I guess rock opera format. But tickets sold out, so I was able to see the performance there.
Yeah, that's really cool. That is, that was kind of my introduction to Green Day, and most of the music that I know is from that album. Definitely kind of, made waves in the scene. So
Yeah.
in 2003, a report was published about the requests that artists made to venues with their backstage requirements. The report included the following. Limp Bizkit insisted that all the lamps in their rooms were dimmable. Mariah Carey would only use bendy straws, never straight ones. And Van Halen insisted that backstage celery was trimmed, not peeled. The Red Hot Chili Peppers asked for a meditation room and aromatherapy candles, and Barry Manilow requested that the air temperature in the auditorium be kept at 65 degrees. That's really interesting. I know how stressful it can be to perform, I'm sure, especially on such a massive level. And, sometimes you just have certain things that you really need backstage for you to feel your best to do that. I will say backstage celery is a little bit of an interesting request just in general.
Yeah, that really stood out because it's like, who's asking for celery, But then again, some bands and artists have their own refreshments backstage, and celery is healthy. It can be refreshing. It's cold, so there you go. In 1995, AC/DC released their 12th international studio album, Ball Breaker, produced by Rick Rubin. It featured the return of former drummer Phil Rudd, who had been fired from the band in 1983 for drinking and drug issues, as well as a fight with guitarist Malcolm Young. Yeah, I'm not super well versed in the lore of AC/DC, so I imagine when Phil returned to the band, the fans, that must have blown fans' minds back then, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm also not versed in their lore, but I think that would be a really interesting and exciting thing for fans. I'm sure the band and him got at a better place to be able to get along at that point. So that's awesome to hear. In 1989, Paul McCartney started his world tour at the Drummenschalen in Norway. It was his first major tour outing since the Wings UK tour in 1979, and this world tour took him to his first appearances in North America in 13 years.
Nice. Good old Paul McCartney there. In 1987, Michael Jackson began a 6-week run at #1 on the US album chart with Bad. The album, which came 5 years after Jackson's previous album Thriller, went on to become the world's best-selling album, having sold between 30 and 45 million copies worldwide. The album produced 5 US #1 singles, the first album to do so. Yeah, whenever I think of Bad, the first thing that comes to mind for me is that DreamWorks movie Megamind, which includes that song.
Yes, that is actually something I just realized and remembered. I watched Megamind on repeat as a child for some reason. I couldn't tell you why I latched onto it, but that is
It
a
still holds
great
up.
callback to my childhood. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. In 1975, the Rocky Horror Picture Show opened in Westwood, California. Starring Meatloaf, Tim Curry, and Susan Sarandon, the movie initially tanked before becoming the cult classic that it is today. Audiences now shout back at the screen and bring toast, toilet paper, and a variety of other props to enhance the viewing experience. I just had to bring this up because every year on my college campus here in Beloit, we do a shadowcast, student-led, of the Rocky Horror Picture Show around Halloween. And it's one of my friends, one of her favorite movies. And so she is co-directing it this semester, and I'm actually in the cast. So I just had to bring this up and give a little shout out to my friend. So it's been so cool to learn it so far, and it's always fun to go and watch.
Yeah, I have friends here and there who've been to Rocky Horror screenings. I think a couple of them might have gone for the first time sometime within the last few months. So maybe I got to see if there's like a screening I can go to sometime. It's just that sometimes if it gets closer to midnight, I'm like more likely to feel really sleepy. And apparently I'm looking up the release date of the film. It looks like today might be the 50th anniversary of the US release of the film, if this is correct.
Yes,
Interesting.
Yes, it is 50 years. So a really big thing. And last year on the 49th anniversary, I was in Philadelphia and my friend and I went to go see it. And we actually got a little, I guess, like visit from one of the main cast members from the movie who played Brad Majors. I cannot remember his name at the moment, but it was really awesome to see him live and on stage with everyone before the show actually started. So really fun.
Okay. Yeah, so 50 years ago today was the Los Angeles premiere, and I guess 3 days later was like the wide US release, but the London premiere was in August 14th. So yeah, but yeah, that movie has really stood the test of time. And I remember when there was some sort of TV remake, and everyone on my social media was posting their opinions on the remake. So that was quite interesting to see back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Oh, next up we have 1969. The Beatles released Abbey Road in the UK, the last album the Beatles recorded as a whole group. The final studio recordings featured 2 George Harrison songs, Something, which was his first A-side single, and Here Comes the Sun. In interviews for the Beatles anthology, the surviving members stated that although none of them made the distinction of calling it the last album, they all felt that this would likely be the final Beatles product. With this knowledge, they had agreed to set aside their differences and go out on a high note. And that album, that cover is iconic. You get many people trying to reenact the whole crossing Abbey Road type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, the year after this, I think April of 1970, they did have another album come out, but it didn't have everyone involved on the project. So this was really their last hurrah as a big group. It came out after they broke up. So
yeah, I know there's like some, because of that, there's like different ways to look at it. So yeah, but man, what a legacy that band,
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's see what's in the news at Jump Talk TV. Yeah.
Our next music trivia game show is on Tuesday, September 30th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The topic this time around is band trios. Visit www.drumtalktvbrilliance.com, go to the calendar, and RSVP to receive the Zoom link directly in your inbox the day of the game.
Rough day? Get away from the craziness and come take a fun break with our music-themed game shows for a chance to win prizes. Join the Drum Talk TV Brilliance free membership for that and much more at buzz.drumtalktvbrilliance.com.
There you go. So come join in on the fun. And that theme is band trios, so that should be interesting. And last Saturday, my dad, Dan, the Drum Talk TV founder, announced the winners of the Ginger Baker Tribute Drumming Challenge. As we near the end of the month, we'd also like to remind you all that the Travis Barker Tribute Drumming Challenge is running until September 30th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific US time. Here's the info on how it works and what prizes you can win. September 2025, we are holding the Travis Barker Tribute Drumming Challenge over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. Play along to tracks featuring Travis Barker on drums. First, second, and third place winners get music store gift certificates valued at $125, $75, and $50 respectively, as well as a Drum Talk TV shirt, only shipping in the US. First place also gets the chance to be interviewed on Drum Talk TV. Step 1. Choose a track that features Travis Barker on drums. They could be from Blink-182, his solo tracks, Plus 44, Transplant, any official tracks he's played on. Step 2, video record yourself horizontally as you play along. Step 3, go to our website where you'll be able to submit it via a submissions form on the challenge page. In order to do this, you will need to be either a free member or a premium member. Free members can submit up to 2 videos. Premium members can submit as many as they'd like. Judging will be based on accuracy, sound, and fan praise. For the fan praise factor, invite people to comment the word VOTE under your video. Don't miss out on the fun. Join us at drumtalktvbrilliance.com.
The next Drum Talk TV Brilliance Q&A will be with Styx drummer Todd Sucherman. It will take place on Wednesday, October 1st at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. UK time. The interview portion with Dan will be public on Facebook and YouTube, but the Q&A portion will only be accessible to those who either purchase a gig pass or get the premium level over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. Here's Todd inviting you to this online event.
Hi, Todd Sucherman here from the rock band Styx. We have a new record out called Circling from Above, and we can chat about this and anything you want. The drums, music business, what have you, over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com on Wednesday, October 1st, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. I look forward to hanging out and chatting with you then over there.
That should be a lot of fun. I'm actually expecting to receive a vinyl copy of that album he mentioned, Circling from Above, this weekend. So I might go live Sunday or Monday to talk about it. I'm really excited to listen to it in full. So the membership site has so many other great perks for premium members, including the Drum Talk TV Ambassadors Program. Premium members refer people with a code for them to use at signup, and the reward is $10 per signup. And here's Dan to explain that in this video here.
Hey everybody, Dan here from Drum Talk TV and Drum Talk TV Brilliance. Hey, how would you like to make bank by being a premium member of Drum Talk TV Brilliance? It's easy. Like, you're a music fan, right? That's why you joined. How many other music fans do you know? Right? So what if they got a discount for joining if you referred them and you got $10 for each one you refer? I mean, you'd pretty much have to be a doofus like this to miss out on something like that, right? Because being fellow music fans, we all know fellow music fans. So go ahead, invite your friends with your own code. We'll tell you how in a minute. But that way you can enjoy things like our live stream concerts, our fan Q&As with big artists, producers, and record executives, our twice-a-month game shows, and other fun things in Drum Talk TV Brilliance with your friends while giving them a discounted invitation, and you make bank. So there you go. So follow the link in this post. If you're not already a premium member, become a premium member. And if you are a premium member, you'll get an email real soon to show how to get your own invite code where you can tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends. Tell 20 friends. That's $200. Wait, what? You'd have to be like this to miss out on that. You're not like that, are you? Invite your friends. Let's have some fun together. Healthy escapism away from the nonsense and the drama and the craziness online on social. Join us, Drum Talk TV Brilliance. We're here for the fun of it. Oh, and at any time, you can become a premium member, refer your friends, and make some bank.
This has been a big week for the various Drum Talk TV original series. On Tuesday, Dan went live with Lou Calderola for an episode of Under the Influence, where they talked about influences who schooled them to tie into the back-to-school theme. They touched on The Who, Kiss, Led Zeppelin, Rush, Genesis, and ELP. Then on Wednesday, Dan went live with bassist Jeff Berlin for another episode of Rhythm and Lows, where they showcased clips from a couple drummer-bassist duos. And today, before our new show, Dan went live with Dr. Eric Sandler and Dr. Michelle Schechter for the premiere of the new series, Plugged into Hearing Health.
Right. And also, there's more stuff happening over on Yes Shift, the prog rock podcast I do with Dad. Sunday was a bit of a detour as I went live reviewing a few punk bands I saw at the Doll Hut in Anaheim, including my friend's band, Fake Band Practice. On Tuesday, I reviewed my recently acquired vinyl copy of Nexus, an album by Steve Howe and his late son Virgil Howe, who would have been 50 that day. Yesterday, Dad and I interviewed Gentle Giant's Derek Schulman about his upcoming memoir, Giant Steps, which you can pre-order at gentlegiantband.com. He's got great stories of being a musician and working as a record executive, so a lot of great stuff there. And I might go live tomorrow, Saturday the 27th at noon for a Yes Shift News Desk edition. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about the last week and a half. In fact, today, the solo album by Yes drummer, the late great Alan White, got reissued. His solo album Ramshackled. So people can check that out at Cherry Red Records. And yeah, lots of Yes and prog rock related stuff to talk about tomorrow.
Awesome. And in the new month, Dan interviews drummer Jonathan Scales on Thursday, October 2nd at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. So tune into that live at Drum Talk TV on Facebook and YouTube.
Indeed, yes. Now, on to the next segment. Let me just make sure I have the right bit here.
And now a moment to acknowledge those who have passed.
All right, so JD Twitch, and let me make sure I have the image to pull up here. Okay, there we go. So JD Twitch, one half of the Scottish DJ duo Optimo Espacio, passed away after a diagnosis of terminal brain cancer earlier this year. Billboard reported that the DJ, whose real name was Keith McIver, passed away on September 19th, and his longtime musical partner Johnny Wilkes announced his passing the next day. McIver started his career in the 1990s by establishing the influential nightclub Pure in Edinburgh before he relocated to Glasgow. In 1997, he and Wilkes launched Optimo at Sub Club, becoming a big Sunday night event. They featured acts like LCD Sound System, Franz Ferdinand, TV on the Radio, Hot Chip, and others. While these events ended in 2010, the duo remained active in touring, production, and running their record label. McIver announced his diagnosis in July, writing, "My symptoms weren't immediately diagnosed, and my health declined very quickly over just a few weeks." Optimo also announced a fundraiser to help cover the costs of nursing care and support services at the time. McIver was 57 years old.
Also, in other sad news, Sonny Curtis, rock and roller who wrote I Fought the Law and the theme song of The Mary Tyler Moore Show, passed away on September 19th. Billboard reported that his wife of more than 50 years, Louise Curtis, confirmed the news to the Associated Press. Curtis wrote and co-wrote hundreds of songs over the years, with credits like Walk Right Back by the Everly Brothers and Keith Whitley's hit I'm No Stranger to the Rain. He was a childhood friend of Buddy Holly and an active musician in formative years of rock. He also opened for Elvis Presley when Elvis was still a regional act. Curtis left Holly's group, the Crickets, before Holly became a household name, but he returned after his friend's death in 1959. Curtis was featured the following year on the album In Style with the Crickets. He was inducted as a member of the band into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012, and previously was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1991 and into Nashville's Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum with the Crickets in 2007. He was 88 years old.
Yeah, definitely sad to lose him, but he also lived a long life. Like, there are people who don't make it to 88, so that's something.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're on to music industry news.
Now let's see what's been going on this week in the music industry.
Now, this next bit of news is about Robert Plant from a little band people may have heard of called Led Zeppelin. He was in that band back in the day. So, rock legend Robert Plant is continuing the latest chapter of his music career with the release of Saving Grace, his first solo album in 8 years. Syracuse reported that the singer's 12th solo album dropped today, September 26th, and features a take on Can I Do It For You by Memphis Minnie and Kansas Joe McCoy, plus covers of songs by several artists, including Moby Grape, Blind Willie Johnson, and Low. Plant will begin a fall tour for the album at the end of October, kicking off in Wheeling, West Virginia on October 30th, and wrapping up with a show in York, England on December 23rd. We actually do have an interview with Plant's drummer, Ollie Jefferson, happening on Wednesday, October 8th at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. And we'll, of course, reiterate that on the next news desk report. But yeah, really cool that he's putting out more music here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It will be great to have Ollie Jefferson on the show. New York City Transit and Cardi B teamed up to get the rapper's take on a slate of subway announcements, reminding riders of proper subway safety and etiquette. According to Billboard, these announcements will be heard in numerous subway stations across the city. In an Instagram post made by the MTA, Cardi swings by the agency's office to recite these snappy PSAs into a microphone, saying, "Steps are for stepping, not sitting. Move it, bucko," in one of the announcements. This collaboration comes a few weeks after the rapper walked through New York City subway cars to sell copies of her new album, Am I the Drama, which dropped last Friday, September 19th.
Right. And Dua Lipa is keeping her habit of keeping up with iconic artists on her Radical Optimism World Tour, surprising fans during her Madison Square Garden run in New York City by inviting Niles Rodgers on stage. Billboard reported that the pair gave an electrifying performance of Chic's 1978 classic Le Freak on Lipa's third night in the city. The British Albanian star has become known for performing locally inspired covers along her tour, starting the tradition earlier this year in Australia and New Zealand. During her world tour, she's invited notable artists such as Troye Sivan, Tame Impala, or is that Tame or Tame? I'm not quite sure. Charlie
It's Tame.
X. Oh, it is Tame. Okay. Tame Impala, Charlie XCX, and Jamiroquai JK, and has covered songs by artists such as AC/DC, Enrique Iglesias, the Beatles, and of course her heartfelt tribute to Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, great tradition that she started there. About a month after actress Millie Bobby Brown and actor Jake Bon Jovi announced they had welcomed a baby girl through adoption, rock icon John Bon Jovi gave an update on life as a new grandpa. Billboard reported that Bon Jovi shared that the experience has been crazy but great while appearing on Bunny XO's podcast, Dumb Blonde. Quote, "They adopted a girl and we met the baby, obviously, and immediately that becomes your grandchild," Bon Jovi shared. "Your baby. So it's beautiful. I want to see pictures like every other day. I'm that pain in the butt guy already." The news of the adoption comes about a year after Brown and Bon Jovi married, and Bon Jovi shared that despite their young ages, the pair are mature beyond their years, and the family gets their love and devotion to each other. Very exciting news for him. I'm sure him and his wife are just doting on that baby girl.
Yeah, definitely. Man, time flies. Like I remember Stranger Things premiered like 9 years ago, and now like yeah, time really just flies. It's something, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown is only a couple months younger than I am, like younger than me. So kind of just wild to see how different this stage of life can be for someone.
Yeah, definitely. Like everyone's on their paths, but it's always like surprising like where people end up even just after like less than a decade. So nearly 50 years after the release of Black and Blue in 1976, the Rolling Stones announced a new reissue of the album that marked a transitional phase for the band. Parade reported that the reissue is due November 14th via Interscope/UME as a 5 LP and 4 CD box set. The album incorporates elements of reggae, funk, and soul into the Stones' classic rock sound, and the expanded reissue features a 2025 remix by Steven Wilson and a 6-track disc of previously unreleased songs. The Super Deluxe editions include a live concert from Early Court 1976, and the accompanying Blu-ray disc features a TV broadcast of a 1976 concert in Les Abattoirs in Paris, as well as Dolby Atmos surround sound mixes of both the studio album and the live Earl's Court concert. So yeah, Steven Wilson has been doing a lot of these over the last decade or so, working with different bands like Yes, and I think Gentle Giant. So it kind of seems like he's become the go-to guy for remixing these things. And I do appreciate when they add like live material that wasn't on the original album. So that should be an interesting listen, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Very exciting news. Sabrina Carpenter continues to make big career moves after her breakout as a pop icon last summer. Billboard reported that Carpenter is set to make her Grand Ole Opry debut on October 7th as part of the institution's ongoing 100th anniversary festivities. Lacey K. Booth and Cameron Marlowe are also set to perform that night, and other artists are yet to be announced. The Grand Ole Opry's website in part reads, "Join us as we push the boundaries of country music and the Opry with our most ambitious and exciting shows yet." The news of Carpenter's debut comes soon after the news that she will host Saturday Night Live for the first time ever, where she will be pulling double duty as both the host and the musical guest on October 18th. She's also set to headline Coachella next year, and she will appear on The Muppets' new one-off special coming to Disney Plus in 2026. I've been aware of Sabrina Carpenter and kind of a fan of her for a long time, since her Disney days when she was acting, and it's really exciting to see her making these big career moves and becoming the pop icon that she is.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday Night Live and Muppets, like that's huge, All right, so
Yes.
an iconic 90s boy band have been close to reuniting, but this week, Parade reported that NSYNC has discussed a massive stadium reunion tour that they, quote, were all on board, unquote, but ultimately the, quote, timing wasn't right, unquote, for member Justin Timberlake. The Can't Stop the Feeling singer was on his solo tour until July and is now battling Lyme disease, announcing the news the day after his final show. He wrote, "I honestly don't know what my future is on stage, but I'll always cherish this run." Other members of the boy band shared that they won't hit the road without Timberlake, and they've publicly supported him following his health update. The band has reunited several times in the past, including at the 2013 MTV Video Music Awards, but they haven't toured together since 2002. The band reportedly had a lot of things planned for their milestone 30th anniversary, but those plans are also postponed for the foreseeable future. Yeah, so, health always comes first, and with a band where the lineup has pretty much always been the same. I actually looked this up earlier. I think they might have had a different member briefly in their first year before like switching to what's known as the iconic lineup, but when you do a reunion, like it has to be that lineup. It's very different from other bands where there are constant changes in membership over the years, so understandable that the situation would be like this.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we can see NSYNC back on stages sometime soon, though. British musician Morrissey canceled 2 shows last weekend after reporting receiving a death threat. Entertainment Weekly reported that he announced via Instagram the cancellations of his show at Foxwoods Resort Casino in Connecticut and MGM Music Hall in Boston. Morrissey reportedly received a death threat in Canada when a 26-year-old Ottawa man made the threat online before Morrissey performed in the city. The man reportedly posted a $5,000 bail and was ordered to live with his father near Washington, D.C. Morrissey's next show is scheduled to take place at the Met Philadelphia on September 23rd, and I guess that was earlier this week, and he has 26 shows remaining on his current tour across both North and South America.
And Bruce Hall recently announced that REO Speedwagon will reunite with Kevin Cronin in their first collaboration since the band ended touring last year. Rock Celebrities reported that the band will play for upcoming University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign homecoming events, the place where it all began for the band. The band will serve as a homecoming parade grand marshals today, September 26th. The band will also participate in the pre-game Siren Sounders and will take the field for an REO-themed halftime show with Barry Hauser and the marching band. Yeah, interesting stuff right there.
Here's a reminder of what's coming up soon on Drum Talk TV.
Alrighty, join us for our next music-themed game show on Tuesday, September 30th at 6 p.m. Pacific. Go to drumtalktvbrilliance.com, navigate to the calendar event, and RSVP to get the Zoom link sent directly to your inbox.
And remember to submit your entries for our Travis Barker Tribute Drumming Challenge this month. The deadline is coming up on September 30th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, so get those videos in.
Finally, join us on October 1st at 12 p.m. Pacific for a fan Q&A with Styx drummer Todd Sucherman. If you aren't already a premium member, sign up now, or if you prefer, buy a gig pass on drumtalktvbrilliance.com to attend the event. Thank you, everyone, for coming and joining us for this Friday News Desk report.
Yeah, and thanks to you, Shiley, again, for putting together this itinerary so that we can report these to the viewers.
Yeah, thanks so much, Stephen.
All right, so yeah, tune in next week, everyone, and we will see you all soon.